well, it was brought to our attention a number of months ago, as we had pointed out, regarding Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and Dave Rubin, that these guys all have their hands out ready to get paid, whether to promote Ukraine, whether to or Russia, or to promote Israel, which of course is the big one, because we know for a fact that Netanyahu has met with several of these MAGA influencers and just overall content creators that are willing to push the pro-Israel narrative.
Can I answer Kimmy? Because Kimmy's asking, but why do they have a large platform? Which is something I've said. There are a few content creators where I really believe that they're operatives. These are paid operatives, whether it's whatever
Pac-Man,
not just Pac-Man, but whatever political, action committee is funding them, or whichever political party is funding them. Like, to me, the Midas, whatever that is, that's a DNC funded 100%. Shill.
100%.
So, these are just being put out there to try to compete with people like Rogan, and they're getting so much funding. And I also wouldn't be surprised with a lot of these if their following is not all real people. I've said that for a long time about a lot of stuff, whether it's the K-Hive, quite honestly, even AOC people. I think it's bots and paid accounts that are just sort of doing that. I don't think they have a real, and I wouldn't be surprised if these kinds of channels were paid subscribers or whatever, not paying them, but people that they pay to look like you're subscribing.
It has now been estimated that 434,000 Palestinians have been mass murdered. Now,
wait, what was the number?
434,000.
And where is this number from?
Donziger posted it on his Instagram a little while ago. And so when you have this level of desperation on the part of somebody like Netanyahu, who's going to pay top dollar, this is where you know that these guys are just in it for the money. And before I play the clip, Colin, do you have that image from the studio that I sent you a little bit earlier? I mean, if this doesn't tell you what this is all about, I don't know what does. Because it's pretty clear to me that the only reason that they would be promoting this is because they're getting paid to do it. I mean, when I see that flag, I want to burn it. Like, I really do.
And JG 1982 never underestimates stupidity of masses to latch onto vapid content creators. That is true for sure. But I don't think that alone explains the amount of following and, let's say, supporters that some people seem to have when compared to in the real world. It just doesn't add up.
No, I definitely agree. But this is also another example of there is no boot that some with large platforms will not lick if it allows them to get paid. And all I can say is, especially if you're this late in the game, you're an accessory to murder as far as I'm concerned. Because you are promoting a genocidal murderer of the highest order. There's seldom been people like this. And they're gleefully doing it, acting like they're in the right. But here's the thing. The biggest problem with this, not so much that they just brought him on. It'd be one thing if they brought him on and they actually questioned him. They allowed him to say this.
This war, the people of Gaza should have the choice. If they want to leave for other countries, they want a freedom of choice. Why are they locked in? Hell, we're not locking them in. Anybody could leave, but Hamas is locking them in.
And they won't say a single thing back to him that this is a...
Just saying.
You kind of messed up what I was doing.
I'll put it back. Continue.
Suppose they want to leave.
Okay, go ahead.
But can you imagine actually...
No, and that's how come I know that they're not legitimate. Because if they were legitimate, this could have never happened. Just like how Debbie doesn't ever attend things that aren't planted, all of that. It's all scripted because these are people that cannot actually interact with regular people that are not on a payroll because they're not liked and they're not likable. And so these guys, this to me proves that whoever these tools are on the Zio payroll one way or another, or he wouldn't be talking to them. That's what it says to me. So it's not just bootlicking, it's complicity with the Holocaust. These are people that are Holocaust, I won't say enthusiasts, but they're apparently willing to promote a genocidal maniac's perspective in the midst of a Holocaust. So I'd say that that would be a tarnish on their, well, right, that's what I'm saying. They're paid, we talk about these people being assets for Mossad and all of these things, but what is an asset? Let's think about what does it take to make somebody an asset? Not everybody who's an asset is like a secret spy or an undercover person. It's just somebody who has information or works on your behalf in some capacity. These guys are acting as assets. So when it comes out later down when it's unfortunate because they seem like they're young guys, but this is going to be quite a legacy that these two are going to have.
Oh yeah, and it gets worse.
They want to go to another country, okay? Why shouldn't they have the freedom of choice to do that? Because this is all upside down, The victim of this horrible terrorism is called the aggressor. The people who are oppressed by Hamas are seen as supporting Hamas. Give them a choice. Give them freedom. Give them a life and give them a future. They can't have that with these Hamas stormtroopers.
Hamas.
Stormtroopers. And who are the stormtroopers? Because the only stormtroopers I see, well, other than ICE, would be the IDF. Those are the stormtroopers. So I don't know who he's talking about, but he's not, because first of all, it's to say he's a liar is almost complimentary.
An insult to liars. Like he's like what were they calling themselves before? Super MAGA, or what was that term?
I don't know.
Ultra MAGA. Okay.
This is a psychopathic person. And the footage and these clips and him historically, it will be very interesting to see 20 years down the road what the real legacy of him will be and how how he will see his end and what that will look like.
Likely he will not be alive, and
or we won't know where he is.
We won't, and probably won't shed any tears either. But if you need any bit of a reminder as to why that Netanyahu is as evil and satanic as he is, here's a friendly reminder.
Netanyahu deliberately boosted Hamas to try to prevent a Palestinian state.
Yeah, sure. He deliberately and systematically even told, on record, whoever wants to avoid the threat of a two-state solution has to support my policy of paying protection money to the Hamas.
So what we did, with the permission of our Prime Minister, is to let Qatar to transfer a huge amount of money in cash, probably more than $1.4 billion. By doing it, we increased the power of Hamas. We did everything in order to make sure that Hamas will go on controlling Gaza.
I mean, you have people telling you to your face that this is all the Netanyahu government's idea was, in order to maintain power and never lose it, let's just boost up Hamas as much as we possibly can to scare the shit out of everybody. And then they'll continue to think that we're the ones that are protecting them. And what's amazing is you would think at this point that this is kind of a known thing. And yet there are so many willfully ignorant people who think that this is somehow a lie, that these guys are telling lies, that there's no way that they would do this. Or is it just a simple case of they're going to go down with their Zionist ship, period?
But it isn't just, I mean, that's just our playbook everywhere. The playbook everywhere is to do the same thing. We take radical insurgent type groups and put them in positions of power to take over democratically elected any sort of governments, not even just really anywhere, and put in whatever radical person we want because they're more willing to work with us because they're more willing to screw over their own people. So that's the kind of people we put in charge of different countries. That's what we try to do. That's what's happening in Syria. That's what we've done in Libya, in Iraq. That's what we've done everywhere. And so, no, it's not surprising that they did the same thing with Palestinians. They did it with the PLO, with Arafat. This has been going on forever.
We'll finish it up.
And Palestinian Authority will control the West Bank, so they will fight each other.
He fed the beast, and it exploded in our face. If you base your national security strategy solely on force, then you need to win 24/7 forever.
Yes.
And that's the whole, therein is the problem. If your security is based on force, then you're constantly having to do it 24/7.
And again, I believe in free will, and I believe in free speech. And Jen and I are very libertarian in that regard. But I will say this: the fact that the Nelk Boys decided to say this after the interview, I hope that their channel collapses. I really do.
So we walked in and there was just like 20 people in suits there.
Yeah.
The setup was already there, both flags, we couldn't touch anything or move anything.
And they don't give you any restrictions like don't ask this.
I'll be honest, they gave us a paper with questions to ask. But they also said they gave us a script to ask, but we didn't really follow it. Yeah. We tried our very best to.
To what? To be a bootlicker? You tried your very best to lick a boot?
He openly admitted it, or he openly said that he wasn't doing something that he clearly was doing, and you sat there in silence and didn't say anything. So you're doubly full of shit, and the only reason you're making this video is because you're scared shitless that your audience is onto you and that you're going to lose them, because there are certain points of no return now in our culture. Epstein is a point of no return. Israel is a point of no return. And not only did you cross that line, you decided to play Judas and take that fucking money from Netanyahu, Pontius Pilate, if you will, and crucify Jesus. Sorry to get all biblical, but
yeah, no, don't do that. But it's interesting. Like, is it my imagination, or do all these kinds of like content creator for sale guys all kind of look the same?
Look like a bunch of douche canoes that are hanging out.
They kind of look like they could all be in a. They look like they could all be in a boy band.
Yeah, something like that, or just hanging out on Venice Beach.
I don't know. They look vapid.
Extremely.
To ask some questions, but I think
personally, I like the questions you asked to him.
Yeah,
it was tough, but with a guy like that, I just wasn't really educated on the subject,
Okay. Yeah, I just totally wasn't educated on the subject. And
okay, and so he posted this video of himself saying that to his audience, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I honestly, as someone who's a content creator, why would you be interviewing someone and talking about something that you're not educated on? Why would you do that at that level in that capacity? This isn't like learning some, niche crafting skill that you never learned before, right? Like, how can you not be educated on this?
The most controversial, by a wide margin, world leader is appearing on your stupid show, and you don't even prepare for it.
That's what I mean.
I don't know anything about it, so
which is why they allowed him to go on there. They knew that for whatever reason, these tools were in their bank. They're on the payroll.
Absolutely, and
they're on the media payroll. Like all of these propagandists that work for people, like whether it's the Zio state or American Empire, all of those sort of propagandists, they have all their inside people that are content people, like this guy, these guys. And those are people that are basically who are the stenographers of their nonsense.
And they rely on them more than anything else. They rely on this idea that there are going to be people that are going to promote them, period. That's what it comes down to. They are supremely confident that there are still people out there, but I'm telling you, they are getting completely dragged for doing this, as they should. They're getting
but my thought is, okay, if they were an actual real organic channel, then I would say, well, they'll lose subscribers or, however that goes. But I don't think it's real and organic. So their numbers are going to just stay the same, because I don't think that it's real anyway. I think it's a facade.